Hey, welcome back to DIY Willie. Today, once again, we're back to work on the 2011 Chevy Silverado. We got a package in from Hyanka. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know that I work with Hyanka and stereo equipment, and we put quite a bit of it in my 2011 Chevy Silverado. And it's all been performing excellent. I can't say nothing bad about it. I was a little hesitant at first getting some of this stuff and trying it, but it has been fantastic. All of it has sounded great. I was especially impressed with the little 8-inch powered subwoofer that we put in. That thing was amazing, really truly amazing. So today what they sent me was one of their subwoofer amplifiers, and well, that's going to replace the little 8-inch powered sub, but it's going to allow me to put a larger subwoofer in the truck, and it gives us a chance to try another piece of their equipment. So with that said, let's take a look at that amplifier. So here's what they sent out. This is a Hyanka 1200 watt CDP-1200D monoblock Class D car amplifier. And yes, the box looks pretty generic, but this, as it is their hassle-free packaging. So it's not what the outside of the box looks like, it's what's inside that really matters. So let's get it open. And yes, I did. This is not a truly unboxing video, because I've had this out of the box already. When I get stuff like this in the mail, I'm excited like a little kid to get a look at it and get it in my hands and touch it and feel it and do all whatever, you know. So I've already had it out. I've looked at it. I've checked it out. Now let's share it with you. So opening the box, right away you're welcomed with another box of Hyanka. And here we go. Let's take a look at it. Basically, it says the same thing that this box said. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sure that's like the model number. I am Ferinkanzan? I don't know. I don't know how to say that, but I hope I didn't destroy it. But anyway, you can give it a shot. Leave it in the comments what you think that says. Ferinkanzan is what I believe it says. So the packaging is nice. It's not damaged. It's not, you know, it looks good quality. I guess this box takes the beating and protects this fine equipment here. There are some specs on the box. And, well, I think we'll go over that later inside the vehicle in the instruction manual. But just right off the top here, this is the 1200D. And this is capable at a 1 ohm load of putting out 1260 watts, according to what they say here. I'm going to run it on a 4 ohm load, and it should be roughly 510 watts. So again, that's based on your input power to the amplifier, 12 to 16 volts. It's probably their maximum, closer to 16, I would guess. I don't know how they rated it, of course. And frequency response, 12 to 220 hertz. That's good. That's really good. Most woofers don't go down to 220 that you get. I mean, if you were to look, you can find them that go low like that, but most of them cut off at about 20. So, yeah, low pass frequencies. It's got all kind of doodads on it, and we'll check it out once we get it going here. Raise the frequency, low pass. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's get the box open. Quit messing around with all the technical stuff right now. Let's see it. So right away, it's got the usual little clip that always breaks my fingernails. Pull it out. We'll get it open. It repeats the same thing on this side. No big deal. Looks like it's packaged really nice. I like this stuff. Well, what we have here is an instruction manual, part of their Aquarius series. It's got some hardware down in there. We'll look at that again later. This is your bass control volume control to show the inputs from minimum to max. You can control your bass that way. You don't want to pop your woofers. And some songs require more bass than others, so you would turn it down to make better use of that, to turn down the amplifier and bring your low frequencies down, whatever your musical choice is. There again, there's that word, Ferencazon. You might be able to say it before we get done with this. Everything looks like it's packaged nice. I like this foam in here that's really protecting the amplifier. Let's get it out of this bag. You know what? I'm gonna put you guys down somewhere. I don't wanna mess this up. So here we go. And you guys are set up there. It's nice and easy to do it. Just pull it out of its little nice little packaging here. Go ahead and close it down. So here it is. It looks very nice. Pretty heavy for what it is. I think there's some big coils in here if I remember right. Wow. That's really nice. Got protective covers over it. Nice big power and ground cables. That's all Allen wrench tightening. Level controls on this side. You know what's interesting though? Normally when you get an amplifier, and I can show you the other amplifier, even the subwoofer, it has a fuse. It has a fuse in on one of the sides where the controls are. This one doesn't have a fuse, but I do see a protect light. So this must have a type of circuit breaker built into it, where it will clip the amp, turn it off to secure it for any problems that might arise. I would guess that protect feature is built into it instead of having an external fuse. But it looks really nice. Pretty heavy for what it is. Nice, nice. Aluminum coolers on the sides. Both sides. Yeah. That is very nice. So now I think we should take a look at what's going on inside the truck. Now that we've seen the amplifier. And yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I approve of it. It looks really nice. Wow, it's much cooler in here, being out of that sun. Okay, maybe the lighting's not the greatest, I don't know. The sound is better. So if you don't know much about this stereo install that I have in this vehicle, I'll leave links in the description for all the Hyanka equipment I put in the vehicle, in this 2011 Chevy Silverado. It has their 6.5-inch door speakers. It's got 4, front and rear. And it's got a Menesa series Hyanka amp. That's I believe it's a 400 watt amp. It claims to be 960 watts, but again, that's a maximum wattage. The RMS I think was somewhere like 4. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is in the video that I have about the installation of that amplifier. And then I have there, as I was saying earlier, the 8-inch powered subwoofer that is amazing. It's truly amazing. And I know they also have a 10-inch version of that subwoofer that I haven't had a chance to try yet, but if their 8-inch does as well as it does, I'm sure that 10-inch is just equally as good. So let's take a look at it. Again, I'm going to leave links in the description for all that equipment that we put in those videos, and it'll have links to where you can buy it as well. So they are affiliate links, but it'll have links for it. So let's take a look at it. So here we have the amplifier, or the 6.5s, and then we have the 8-inch powered sub. Now I made this board that it's all mounted on, and I had it all wired up nice and neat, but I've already in advance so that I don't spend so much time doing wiring for the next amplifier, the new subwoofer amplifier. I've already done some things on this system. I disconnected the 8-inch to make the video process easier. So it's unbolted. I can move it. There's its power wires. It's disconnected from the power block distribution. The ground's disconnected from the distribution over there, and they're just kind of laying here. I was using 4-gauge wire to come up to power everything, and then splitting it off to 8-gauge for each amp. And these are the 8-gauge wire adapters for these distribution blocks. You just have to take them out to put the larger gauge. The subwoofer amplifier that we're going to put in, the new one today, it says it can use 10-gauge wire or bigger. And I tried to use my 8-gauge wire, but it just didn't fit inside the subwoofer the amplifier connections. So I went ahead and I'm going to use 4-gauge wire like I have here coming in from the battery. Yes, is that the correct way to do it? The block does handle 4 or 8-gauge wire. Is that going to take power away from this amp? Most likely, you know, power is going to follow the path of least resistance, which the larger wire will give it least resistance, but it will still power everything just fine. It'll work. So I'm not going to show the wiring up to the battery right now. I have that in the other videos, and I'll leave a link in the description to those videos so you can see that wiring, and that'll just make this video easier. So when you get started on anything that deals with the electrical system of the vehicle, like a stereo or alarm system or subwoofer amplifier like we're doing today, you want to try to always disconnect the battery to keep from shorting out things like the airbags, for instance, or anything else that may happen while you're moving the wires around. You can actually damage the equipment you're installing by doing so. So always disconnect the battery. This time I'm leaving the battery disconnected, but I have already pulled the fuse out of the power that's going, the 4-gauge wire that's going back to the amplifiers. This will protect that wiring as I'm doing the connections back there. The only connection that I'm not disconnecting is the RCA coming from the stereo that will bring the signal wires back. All right, let's get going. So first thing, I'm just going to pull the powered 8-inch away and place it safely in the garage. Now this thing is amazing. I'll probably wind up using this in the Baja Razor. When it gets done and we do the stereo system in that, I'll get another Hyanka system for that vehicle as well, because this has really been a great little subwoofer. And maybe I get the 10-inch version, I'll try that, but for right now this will be great. Now bringing the amplifier in the truck, and before we do any install, you want to thoroughly read through the user's manual. There may be bits and pieces of information you need, even though you may have installed amplifiers many times like myself. It's always a good idea to familiarize yourself with the user's manual and know all the specifics. Here's the parts. Now we need to get it connected. You need to get it connected and get it going and get that test going. Man, that sunlight, that's so bright. How can I shut that? Anyway, could roll the window up, I guess, but then it'll get hot in here. So as I was saying, I already have this ready to wire up. I've got the distribution blocks changed from 8-gauge wire up to the 4-gauge wire, and we're going to plug into the amplifier first, and then we'll make the connections to the power blocks or the distribution blocks. Everything should be here ready. I kind of had it set up to make things easier. Now I would like to have the amp this orientation, but then I don't have room for the subwoofer box. I could probably put it up here, but then you're over the power blocks, blah blah, whatever. So I'm just going to set it like this into this orientation, and it's going to serve the same purpose. And we'll be able to screw in to the top here and hold it. I'll put it back as far as I can. I may take these wires loose up here and move them out of the way. We don't need them right now. So, and that would allow me to move this further up, and I'll keep it away from people's feet at this end of the connections. So let me get the wires out. We'll screw them in and start the connections. Now making the connections, you want to make sure your terminals are screwed out good. You can kind of see them right there. And strip out your wires. I've got about a 1/2 inch strip out of the wires, and I like to wrap them with a little bit of aluminum foil to help hold the strands together as they go into the equipment, whatever that may be, whether fuse distribution or power supply or something. And you just insert the wire in as far as it goes, bottom it out, and then run the bolt down And that'll be your wire connections. Make sure they're good and tight. Make sure they're good and tight. Like that. Give a wire a little tug so they see that they're firm. Now, it may not be able to pull the amp out like this to do this because you'll have the wires, but in my situation, you'll have the wires ran through the vehicle. They may not be in two parts like this. But in my situation, I can make jumper wires like this that go to the distribution blocks. Just makes the install a little neater, a little easier and cleaner, whatever. I already have my speaker wire put out and ready to go. And you want to make sure, again, that these are nice and clean. I'm not going to worry about the aluminum foil on these. It's not quite as delicate, but you want to get your polarities. And this is the same wire I used when I put the speaker box together, the subwoofer box. And it has a lighter blue and then a darker, almost gray blue on one end. And I'm going to use the darker color as a negative and the blue as the positive. And again, if you remember, the instructions showed connecting to the middle two terminals on the amplifier. First one being positive, second one being negative. So we'll just go ahead and make that connection. Have these wires ready to go. Want to make sure these connections are good and firm. Solid. There we go. Get the negative side down. Get it in there. Go ahead and tighten it down too. Just like that. Nice and solid. Now we're ready to put it down and make the final connections. I'm just going to set it down, pull the wires to their areas they need to go, put the amp up there. See, this is the ground wire, and you can see I'm using red wire for the ground. I didn't have any black or other color. I just put some black tape on it to remind me that it's the ground wire. Well, I got one more connection, and that would be the remote turn-on wire. Let me get that done. All right, now that we've got the power all set up, just a couple more things to do. These are the signal wires coming from the Alpine stereo up front, the head unit. We're just going to remove these covers here, these dust covers, to help protect the outlets. Now, it doesn't matter right or left channel. I always set the darker color as the right channel, so this is right and this is be left. However, this doesn't really matter. Even though it does say right or left, in my situation, it doesn't matter. So maybe you have a different setup that's not bridged, or you may have a right and a left subwoofer. I don't know. Then you would have to have more care taken to that. But I don't have that situation. We're not going to deal with it. The only thing left to do is bring in the subwoofer and connect the subwoofer. But let's just look at our connections first here, or our settings. Taking a look at our settings, we have the bass boost. You can have it off, or what is that setting? Yeah, you can have your bass. You can set your bass boost 0. What is that? 8 decibel, and then 6 decibel and 12 decibel. Then you've got your level, your gains, minimum to max, your low pass filter from 50 to 22 hertz, and then your subsonic on and off at 50 hertz. I like to set this. I'm going to go ahead and put this to 12. I'm going to set the gains right about middle, which is where it is, right about middle. That should make tuning a little easier. Now the low pass, that is all the way off. So let's bring this up to about a quarter of the way. And our subsonic, I'm not exactly sure what the subsonic is, but that's about half. Yeah, let's try it at half. See what it has to say and see how well it performs. Next thing we got to do is bring the subwoofer over. Now, the subwoofer and box I assembled in a different video. I'm not sure if that video will come out before or after this video, whichever it is, but you might want to check it out. This is not a Hyanka subwoofer though. They did not send me a subwoofer, so I had to get one of my own, and I chose a brand that I've used in the past. I've never used this box before that I have, but it seems to be well made, and it's all in that video. I'll leave a link in the description for that video so you can check it out. Again, I don't know if it's going to be out before this or after this. I don't know, maybe before. We'll see. But let's get that amplifier and get it placed in here, and all the connections should be made. All right, so here's the subwoofer and box I chose. Again, we have a video, and I'll link that in the description of how we assembled it and put it together, checked out and reviewed the box and the subwoofer. Again, Hyanka did not provide this. I had to provide this myself, and this is just a brand that I've used a lot in the past, so I used it. So we have our connection wires, and up here on the top of the box we have our spring-loaded speaker connections, and red being positive, black being negative. So if you remember, we connected these speakers with the blue being the positive and the black charcoal color being the negative. So we're going to put the blue wire, oops, give it a little twist. We're going to put the blue wire on the red side and the black charcoal wire on the black side. Now those should be connected fully, and we're ready to put it in place and check it out. Pay close attention to running your wires like this. Make sure everything, give it one last look over, make sure everything is not, there's no loose connections, nothing's touching, everything looks good. I think we're good, and we're ready to make the final connection at the battery, and then tune the system and give it a test. What do you say, huh? All right, let's go. Now that everything's installed, it's time to get a listen to it. I think I've got it tuned kind of like where I like it across all the types of different music I listen to. So this should work without doing too much adjustment per song. So it's all plugged in. All the levels check out. I did do some adjustments even on the amp for the 6.5 speakers. I had to change that up a little bit. Everything was kind of thrown off. I don't understand why, but I got it all dialed in now, and let's give it a listen. So let's see. Yeah, get my phone facing me this way. Let's see here. Oh, we can't listen too much of this. This is the warning, Atomic Sun. Sounds pretty good. I can't listen to too much of that. We'll get hit with copyright. But that's similar to a lot of the music I listen to. Now we're gonna go over and play some copyright-free stuff that I use in my my videos quite a bit. This is it's called Bass Groovy Beat, and it comes from Sounds Crate. It's copyright-free, like I said, and shouldn't have any issues with it. I use it in a lot of my videos. I wish the camera could reproduce the bass like that, but you can see it working there, and the clarity of the rest of the speakers. Let's get a closer look at that sub. Sounds really good. It's hitting pretty hard. I know this is not a test of the 6.5, but you can hear the clarity of the 6.5 as well. Turn it up a little bit. It's hitting hard. Sounds really good. Look at that thing roll. I can even turn it up, but I'm afraid of popping that woofer. That woofer's brand new. I want to break it in before we really give it the bass. compressor is good. I like to feel the music, the vibration coming through the woofer, through the upholstery, the plastics, and into your back. I love the feeling. Some people in my other videos were complaining about my music choice to test the sound system. Hey, I just try to find royalty-free music that's not going to give me a copyright strike, and music that sounds good, has all the frequencies that I like to hear, that's really going to display or showcase the speakers rather. It's going to show the highs, it's going to show the mids, it's going to obviously show the bass coming from the woofer. I mean, it just I want to hear every note. And I want to hear it strong. I want to hear it powerful. And this is doing a good job. I do kind of wish I'd have went with a 12-inch woofer instead of a 10. I think the 12-inch has more throw. And it just I think it would have been a little better. But this 10-inch is hitting hard. It's kind of abrupt, where the bass is more, abrupt, I guess. It doesn't throw as much, you know. This is just kind of boom, 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 like that. But it's good. That's good. I guess that was the end. Let's play it again. We'll turn it up a little bit. I know it's good when the mirrors are vibrating, the car starts to vibrate. It's good. It sounds really good. That Hyanka amp is pushing hard. That little subwoofer is working. The amp seems to have no trouble at all. It's doing a fine job. It hasn't clipped yet either. It hasn't overloaded, hasn't overheated. It's staying cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't see any issues with the amp at all. It's doing exactly what they claimed it would do. It's powering the subwoofer. I wish I had a way to measure the amount of power coming out of it, but I don't have that equipment. I can't measure the sound pressure level, all that, but it is really good. I know the camera's not showing how good it really is. So, I'm very impressed again with the equipment coming from Hyanka. So far, everything has worked perfectly. We'll find out how long it lasts. If the speakers still have no distortion coming from them, they're very clear. Obviously, this amp, both amps actually, are working great. I'll put links in the description to the installs of the other pieces of equipment I have from Hyanka. And I realize the subwoofer is not Hyanka brand, but I didn't see that they had what the heck is that called? A shallow mount. I didn't see that they had a shallow mount subwoofer in their lineup. They may have, I don't know, I just didn't see it. I needed a shallow mount for where I wanted to put it and for the box that I chose. So I could have used any subwoofer and I could have left the seat up, but I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to put the seat down and still kind of keep it hidden, you know. Sounds really good. Very impressed with it. And if you like this video, give it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and go check out that Hyanka brand. I'll put links in the description. You can see what you want. They have a lot of things to offer, and well, it's been fun putting it in. Thank you, Hyanka, for trusting me with your equipment, and I hope I did it justice. So thanks for stopping by and checking out the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.